Thank you, Perumal. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for inviting us for delivering this session. And I have my co-speaker with me, Sonia Vyas. So, Sonia,
Yeah.
please share your screen.
Yeah,
First of all,
once
thank
more.
you all for joining this session. And I hope you all are doing well and excited to learn this topic, which is uh, in demand today. So, that is security, privacy, and compliance. So, Sonia, I think we can go in the presentation mode.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's yeah. I hope screen is visible to all of you.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
audible and clear. We can go ahead.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you so much for this confirmation. Thank you. So thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us for this session, and we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so please stay with us till the end to win the exciting prizes. And as I told you that the topic is Microsoft Viva security, privacy, and compliance. Sonia, we can move to the next slide. Yeah, so co-speaker. So first I'll introduce myself, little bit of about me. So I'm working as a Microsoft certified trainer, and from last 3 years, I'm delivering trainings, and I'm working with CloudThat as a business unit head for cloud security and BI. I also completed couple of certifications to understand what we have in Azure for securing the infrastructure data. So you can see on the screen, I have cleared couple of certification. Also to learn about AWS, I also cleared one AWS certification as well. And I've also started one user group in Vadodara to spread the understanding and knowledge about Azure. And also I'm member of other technical communities also because I love to share my knowledge and I love to promote women in tech field. So this is about me. We can go to the next slide, Sonia.
yeah. So, hi everyone. This is Sonia Vyas, and a little introduction about me. I am also a Microsoft certified trainer recently, and I have completed three Microsoft certifications, like in SE 300, SE 900, and MD 100. And I have also dived into the Viva, like I have cleared Viva Insights practitioner and specialist certifications, and my skill also lies in coding or programming in C, C++, Python, and MySQL. And that's what a short introduction. And you can go ahead, Abhilasha.
Thank you, Sonia, for introduction, and thank you so much for joining hands to deliver this session where Viva and security we are putting it together. So Microsoft Viva, like before jumping into the security, privacy, and compliance, let's little bit talk about Microsoft Viva. So I think it's a special ingredients which we use to make our dishes more tasty. So it's just like that to give a best experience to the employee where we have a platform which basically elevate the productivity or you can say the involvement, and this is very seamlessly integrated with Microsoft Teams. And also it is can be considered as a special tool that helps employees in a company to work better. You can use the field connections, like you can have Viva connection, you can use Viva learning. So lot of things are coming under Microsoft Viva. And also if we see, it is helping us in reducing the labor cost. It is also helping us in uh, reducing in the IT deployment or the development cost or managing the learning process as well. So the main challenge is when we have all those connections and such platform, it's important to work on the security, privacy, and compliance as well. So let's move to the agenda for today's session. So we have designed this agenda in which can we move to the next slide, Sonia, please? Agenda
Yeah.
slide. Yeah. So in this, first we will be talking about the importance of security, privacy, and compliance, and then we will try to see and understand that how Microsoft Viva privacy works, security works, and compliance work. For that, we have prepared few demos as well to give a brief introduction about these things which we are talking. So let's start first with understanding the importance of security, privacy, and compliance. As most of you know that security is important in this digital landscape where security means we are talking in context of securing the digital systems. We are talking about the protection of networks. We are talking about the protection of data from various threats and risk, where we are talking not only about the external threats, but we are also talking about the internal threats. So we want to protect our data, our resources from unauthorized access. We want to make them secure so that they can be prevented from very, very sophisticated cyber attacks, as well as we talk about DDoS and other attacks. So that is important, where we need to see that potential harms can be there when we talk about the important information of the employees. So security is very, very important. When we say privacy, so privacy is basically involved with the protection of personal and sensitive information. Also, it ensures that individuals should have control that how their data is collected, used and stored, and also the shared. So whenever we have any application installed on our device, that application is asking certain consent. So that is in the hand of user, what kind of consent we want to give for our information. We want to give access to the directory, we want to give access to the data. So that's in the hand of the user. And also privacy is basically focusing on safeguarding an individual's right. I'm specifically mentioning it because in Microsoft Viva, that learning and connections and topics are coming together. So that is very, very important that individuals' rights should be safe to keep their personal data, and also the ensuring that this data is only accessible by the authorized person. So when we talk about RBAC, we should also take care of those stuff also when we are aligning anything or assigning anything. And then the compliance things are coming, where we need to follow certain regulations, certain laws, certain standards, certain guidelines, which is relevant to the work which we are doing, which is relevant to the organization which is into. So healthcare, we have HIPAA; finance, we have PCI DSS. So all these kind of compliance we should be taking here, because compliance covers various areas including data protection, financial reporting, and if we say environment regulations, and also many more things we can include. And in context of cybersecurity, compliance generally refer to the data protection and privacy regulations. So we just trying to see that how all these aspects are working together and merge in the Viva aspect as well, and how these all things will be managed, where Viva is, I can say that, is taking care of enhancing the productivity and connectivity and collaboration within the organization. So this is important to talk about security, privacy, and compliance. So first, uh, yeah, Sonia, please move to the next slide. So I'm switching off my video, I think. Just, I hope my audio is clear, but video is freezed, I guess. Okay, audio is clear, so I just switch off my video. Sure. Thank you so much for the confirmation. So security measures in Microsoft Viva. So first of all, like Viva places a strong emphasis on security because it is ensuring a safe and responsible digital environment for users. Now, Microsoft Viva also ensures data and communication security through the multiple layers of protection. And we all know when we talk about security, it's coming as a defense of depth, because if one layer is breached, then we should have other layers to give to the attacker to breach them as well, so that we will also get a time to see that somebody is trying to breach some layers or break some layers. So multiple layers of protection is there. It utilizes like Azure Active Directory for identity and access management. It enables the administrator to control user access and implement MFA. And also all the data within Viva is encrypted, and encryption both in transit and at rest. And this use all the industry leading encryption standards. So the very, very important thing is that we have our data encrypted. We are using Azure Active Directory, which we already know. And then if we talk about the threat protection, so threat protection features, as we know, like Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, these are integrated into Viva for detecting and mitigating potential security risk. And also Viva classify and protect the sensitive data for uh, protection, because we know that every data, every type of data is having different need of security measures. So Viva is classifying and protecting the sensitive data from unauthorized access by implementing various protection mechanisms, policies which we can design. And also Viva applications are closely working with and integrated with Microsoft 365. It means that Microsoft 365 security capabilities, if we talk about role based access, identity, app management, all those things are applied to Microsoft Viva as well. And that is very, very important to understand when we are using Microsoft Viva. It is secure and it is also having all these capabilities to manage. And also, when we talk about Viva application, this can also use specific settings and policies of the apps that Viva interact with. I see some questions also coming in the chat. So once we complete this session, Nayan, we will take the questions as well. So this is, if you see in this slide, security measures of Microsoft Viva are mentioned. So where I was just talking about that it is closely integrated with 365 security as well. And also we can use other Viva applications like policies if we want to have, where the Viva interacts with, and also depend on which Microsoft Viva application you are using, you may inherit your security configurations and options from Teams and also SharePoint. Like for example, security for Viva connections. It is largely inherited from Microsoft 365. SharePoint and Teams. So when you are setting up a Viva connection, you have to be sure to confirm who has access to certain sites within SharePoint. Now, this ensures that only authorized users have access to certain data and features. So that all things coming in the security measures where Viva Learning is also enabled by default for all Microsoft Teams users in the organization. So we can turn off or turn on Viva Learning also for the organizational level on the Microsoft, on the managers application uses. So these things are coming under the security measures of Microsoft Viva. Now let's move to the privacy principles in Microsoft Viva. Sonia, can we move to the next slide, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. So as we see in this slide, privacy principles in Microsoft Viva, Microsoft privacy statement, uh, general data protection regulation, Microsoft EU data boundaries. So Microsoft is transparent. We all know we are using Microsoft from couple of years about the specific policies, operational practices, and the technologies that help us in ensuring the privacy of the data across the Microsoft Viva as well. And also privacy is built into all Microsoft Viva experiences. When we talk about Microsoft privacy statement, this explains that the personal data Microsoft processes, how Microsoft processes and what purposes. So that is coming under Microsoft privacy statement. When we talk about general data protection regulations, this gives rights to the people like to us to manage personal data collected by the organization. And also these rights we can understand like data subject request also, that organization is required to provide timely information regarding the DSRs and the data breaches and the perform data protection impact assessment as well. And also Viva follow Microsoft EU data boundary, and this supports the requirement of customers across EU and also European Free Trade Associations. So Microsoft has opened and are constructing data centers. I just want to share, maybe this is updated now, more than 17 data centers region in Europe. And this significantly going to reduce the cloud data flows out of EU. So we know that there are certain boundaries and governance related to that. So that is also taken care. And if we talk about AI, which is the last point from the left hand side, responsible AI standards. So Microsoft use artificial intelligence is governed by responsible AI standards. Now this defines the principles that should guide AI development and use. And also Viva inherits privacy features and settings from Microsoft 365 like consent control over data processing, also data minimization and anonymous insight as well. So Viva engage, if I say either the data is stored in Yammer or SharePoint. So private content is restricted to the participant in the content only. So that is the thing which is coming under the privacy policy. Then we have the next point, that is compliance features of Microsoft Viva. So compliance is uh, a very prominent concern in digital age because organizations are ensuring data protection and privacy. So Microsoft Viva addresses these compliance challenges. I can say that with a robust set of features and safeguards. So it's the customer's data, and we need to have a proper operations to protect the data. So Microsoft Viva offers a comprehensive solution to achieve compliance in digital workspace. Now, with the integration, it provides the organization with the necessary tools to meet the regulatory requirement. So, as I discussed, that we need to compliance with certain policies based on the data organization is using. So, Microsoft Viva applications we know that are built on the existing infrastructure, and depending on the application, it inherits the compliance features and settings from Microsoft Teams, Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, Azure, and Viva Exchange. So here we need to understand that built-in security, continuous compliance, and privacy by design provided by Microsoft to provide the compliance features for the Microsoft Viva. So I think this is all from my side for this, and I would like to hand over to Sonia Vyas for taking the Viva connections, privacy, and role-based access further. Thank you, Sonia.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abhilasha. Let's move ahead and towards Viva connection. So we will try to go into it one by one, what all I could cover in this time. So Viva connections, we will be discussing about the privacy and the role-based access. So if we talk about Viva connections, so its data is basically residing in the data centers where the associated M365 tenant is residing. Its privacy settings are inherited from SharePoint, from Teams, from Viva Engage, and we can control what content is available through the app. And whenever we are accessing Viva connections, we can control what content is available through the app. That is, information which is visible to the users is based on the settings and their role in the organization. And we can also give different permission levels which are required according to the content creator. So let us do one thing. We will switch the screen to Viva connections. Just a second. So I hope Viva Connections is visible to you. Okay. On this connections page, we can see the banner. The banner is there, followed by the dashboard. And again, it is followed by the resources and the feeds. Right. So here, if we want to personalize it according to the permissions we want to give. Okay, how to reach to this page in Teams? I just got a question. So in the Teams, here on the three ellipses, you would be seeing on the left-hand panel. So simply you can click over here and you can search for Viva connections and and it will be open over here. Right, you can and this will be acting as a home page, right? So here you will be seeing the various other apps like Viva Learning, Viva Insights, Goals, Engage, Pulse. So all the apps will be present over here in Viva Connections, which will be acting as the home page. So moving ahead, if we want to personalize it according to or give permissions according to some individual persons, that we can hello. Okay, so then we can simply move over here on the right hand side. We will be seeing three ellipses, and here we can go to manage access. Inside manage access, you can see or we can determine who has the permission to view this experience and who has the permissions to edit or the content which is there on the dashboard and the navigations, etc. So you can see there are three types of permission levels. One is the owners, right? So owners will be having the full permissions, the full control. That is, they can edit, they can add, and they can delete, and even they can add some other users or other owners or other members as well. And if we talk about members, so members will be having limited control. They will be having the control to edit the dashboards, edit the edit the navigations, right? But they won't be having this permission to add anyone, like add the users or add any other member or any other visitor also. And if for the third one we see, this will be the visitors, that is the view only. So they will be like the guest users who will be having just the viewing permission. Okay, so from here we can go and we can grant the access. So we can grant the access to a particular user. We can grant access to M365 groups or security groups, right? And suppose I want to grant access to any particular group. So I just simply am selecting Ask HR members, right? And from here we can select what type of permission you want to give. Like you want to make this particular group a member. I can have some noise is there. If you could please switch off your mic. Then there is the owner permission, or you can also assign the visitor permission as well. So if I select owner permission and I add, so here in the owners, you would be able to see all the owners will be listed over here. It can be a group, it can be a personal individual. So right now I had added Ask HR members. So like this, you can grant access to particular user or particular group, and they can come and modify and work on this Viva connections according to the permissions granted. Right. And moving ahead, even in the dashboard, here dashboard, you can see there are various cards present over here. So these are adaptive cards. Okay. And these adaptive cards have the facility that we can target them according to the audience. Right. So for doing this audience targeting, we can simply go to this edit. So what basically this audience targeting would be, like there are various departments in your organization, and you want a particular target, a particular card to be targeted to particular segment of your organization. Suppose I choose this one HoloLens 2, right? And I want that this should be only accessible to a particular department of my organization or to a selected group. So I will just simply go and choose this, and from here I will be editing the card. So here you will be seeing on the right hand side, this entire card will be open. So from here you can choose various things like the card size, the card content, and all those things. And even the card action, what card action we need to take. We can also provide some coding over here in the format of a template of JSON. And again, moving ahead, at the last, we have this option of audience targeting. So as I told you, audience targeting is like it is going to target. So this card is going to be visible to that particular group or that particular department of the organization. So simply you can suppose I choose any group, say communication members or Contesto Life members. So you can choose any of the group right now for demo purpose, right? And once it is targeted, I'm closing it from here. So once it is targeted to the audience, here on the right hand side, like bottom over here, you can see there is a icon over here. So this icon is going to tell you that this card is targeted to specific audience. And we can go to the preview. And once we go to the preview, just a second. Yes. So now you can see this HoloLens is no more visible over here. And why is this not visible? Because this is only visible to the targets, to the audience that were targeted. So once you will log into from that particular group, you will be having your identity from that particular group, and only then you will be able to see this type of card. Okay, so this is how we can even target our audience, right? So this is again one very good feature of Viva Connections. And like people with the member permissions or higher, the either member permission or with the say the owner permission, they will automatically see these types of edit buttons. Otherwise, you won't be able to see these types of edit buttons over here, which we saw earlier on the dashboard. Just starting the changes. So these added buttons which we see are not available for the everyone, like for all the permissions. So these added buttons are only available if we have the right permissions, like the member or the owner permissions as we discussed earlier. And this is how Viva Connection is going to maintain privacy through role-based access control. And again, it is going to restrict access to the data, which is based on the user roles. Moving ahead to our PowerPoint, just a second. So let's move ahead towards Viva topics. So Viva topics, like again, uses existing content security features in Microsoft 365 along with the administrative controls to control like what AI generated content is shown to the users in your organization. So again, it is going to be a combination of M365 security settings like giving the permissions to any sites, any files or folders, and also from topic admin settings that will determine like what a given user can see in the topics. So let us do one thing. Again, we will switch to the demo screen. Just a minute. And let's move to this Microsoft 365 Admin Center. I am there in Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And on this right-hand side panel, you will be finding the settings option. Under the settings option, when we go to the organizational settings and scroll down, you would be finding Viva topics over here. So from here, we can manage how topics and the related resources will be discovered and how they will be shared with the users, right? So moving to Viva topics. Yeah. So here you can see how we can manage the Viva topics. So first is the topic discovery option. So topic discovery is like where you can decide like what all selected sites or from what all sites it is going to discover, like from where all the topics are coming. So you can include all the sites, or you can include like except some selected sites, you can include all the sites, or you can only include some selected sites. So that totally depends upon you, that what all sites are there from which you want to collect the data, right? And even you can go with no sites as well. And you can also exclude some topics, like if you want, you cannot, you don't exclude any topics, or you can exclude any topics by name. So even that type of yes. Moving ahead to topic visibility. So what is visibility is who can see the topics, right? So who all will be able to see these topics. So we can edit and simply go in, and we can choose everyone in the organization. So for a particular topic, who all in your organization are going to see that topic? Only selected people or any security groups, or no one? So that totally depends upon the administrator when we are setting up Viva topics. Again, moving ahead to topic permissions. So who can create and edit the topics? So here what we can do is, yes, who can create and edit topics? So everyone in the organization can create the topics, or you can only select some selected peoples or security group, or you can select no one. So that again depends upon the person, like administrator and the organization. And this one, the last one, is the topic center, wherein you can decide the name of the topic, like it can be topic center, or it can be given according to the topic and the site address. From there, we are going to pick up all the contents, right? So this is how we can actually go and manage from Microsoft 365 Admin Center, right? So next, moving to the home of Viva Topics, right? So here we can see Viva Topics home is there. And inside this, we can create various new topic pages, list, documentary, libraries, or app. And again, if we go to manage topics, so here you will be able to see the various topics which are there. And you can manage your topics either by editing or viewing the status and reviewing the topic details. Suppose I click on this one. So it is going to show me the analyze it and show it to me the digital service initiative. The topic is going to be expanded and shown to me. And if I move over here to the site contents, inside the site contents, I can see the various site contents which are present over here, right? And from here, if I want to see, go and set some things, like there are many settings given in the site settings as well. So we can select the users and permission, the people and the group we want to specify, like and users or groups who will have access to this particular site and any sub-site which inherits the permission. We can give site permissions as well. Site app permissions can be given. Then web designer galleries are also there. We can have site administration like regional settings, language settings, and a lot of things are available over here in the site settings. You can go with the look and feel. We can also have many site actions like managing the site features or even deleting the site. And if we go to search result resources, result types, query rules, okay, let us go with the search and offline availability. So here you can see we can choose whether we want to allow the site to appear in the search results, yes or no. So if I go and say no, then this particular site will not be this particular site is not going to be like available in the searching, right? So we can choose accordingly from here, specify whether this site should be visible in the search results. Also, we can go and go ahead with indexing ASPX page content and offline client availability as well, while like allowing items from this site to be downloaded to offline clients, yes or no. So that depends upon us that what type of permissions we want to provide when we are setting. Okay, so these are the various settings that we can do into Microsoft Viva topics. And just moving ahead. Yeah. So we can see that topic viewers contributors can see there is a list of some confirmed and published topics in the topic center. And but if we see the topic details, so topic details will only be shown to that particular person, like depending on the permission. Okay, so Microsoft 365 provides a variety of ways to ensure that sensitive data content is restricted to appropriate users. And beyond standard team or the site permissions, we can also use some sensitivity labels or some DLP, like data loss prevention policies, to restrict the access to the content. And even access reviews, as someone mentioned in the chat also, access reviews can be used to periodically review the user's access to sensitive information. Okay, moving ahead to Viva Insights. So Microsoft Viva Insights includes many types of insights, like there can be personal insights, or it also provides us with manager, team, or the leader insights and advanced insights as well. So if we talk about personal insights, so personal insights are processed and stored in the Exchange online mailbox, and the data region for the leader or the manager, it is determined by the default geography of that particular tenant, and it is not dependent on the individual user. So only header information and the metadata, which is sourced from the Exchange Online and Teams, is going to be stored, and the message contents or the attachments are not going to be stored. Okay, so if we talk about personal insights, it is going to help like to identify opportunities to build better work habits with personalized insights. Okay, and like we can reserve time for the focused work, we can take regular breaks, we can practice mindfulness. So Viva Insight is going to convert data into personal insights by doing some calculations on information that we are generating just by going about your workday. Personal insights in Viva Insights are not actually designed to enable the evolution. You will not be able to track. No automated decision making is there. Profiling or monitoring, those won't be possible. So your data is stored and computed in the Exchange Online mailbox. It has no mechanism or no option that allows anyone other than you to access the personalized information. But one can choose to even opt out of the personal insights as well. If you're not comfortable, you can opt out of this. And if their admin has enabled them to do so, one can also opt out of the info of their information being used in the analyst queries. Okay, if
Just
we
a small
move ahead.
reminder, we have 10
Yeah.
more minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will be winding up in 10 minutes. Thanks for reminding. Moving ahead to the team insights. So team insights are going to give us much needed visibility into the work habits that like might lead, as you can see on the screen also, that might lead into burnout or the stress. So these habits include regular after hour works, like if someone is regularly working after hours, meeting overload, or too little of focus time is there. So team members can use these insights to help their teams to strike a balance between the productivity and the well-being of any particular person, right? And if we go to the insights, like advanced insights app, analyst experience, there is a query results tab page, which is going to list all the results which are available for your organization over there. And from there, we can also get a link to access the results as the data in either a Power BI or an Excel. So I can just show you what it looks like. This is what the Power BI demo is going to look like. Just a second. So here on the screen, you can see the Power BI file, what it would be looking like. The main important emphasis is on that de-identification. So you won't be able to identify uh, so we won't be able to identify the weekly, like the particular person, right? You can see there are various departments, but then we are not going, it is not going to be identified particularly. So after our collaborations, how many persons are collaborating after hours? How many weekly collaboration hours were there? And if you move to the collaboration modes, we can see the team, how the team is involved into weekly hours spent in meetings, emails, chats, and calls, and even the after hour collaboration, which organization or which department of your organization is indulged into after hour collaborations. And accordingly, the administrators or the team leaders can go ahead and take the decisions. If we talk about meeting culture, we can again see the recurring meeting hours by the meeting types, like which types of meeting they had and which type of how many times it was recurring, what types of the meetings were there and how it was conducted. Even we can see on the long and the large meetings. So these are the various things that we can see in the organizational insights, like which can help the leaders and managers of the large team to understand how their organization, the people who are actually reporting to them directly or indirectly, are succeeding at work. So leaders and managers will be able to see some key indicators of their organization's well-being, their productivity and team culture, and they can find features and tools to help to support their team as well. So as a part of the fundamental privacy, no personal information about a person is going to be disclosed. Also, there will be many other crucial like admin facing controls that will be offered at the tenant level, where we can like which will help us further in this journey. Okay, moving ahead. So moving ahead, we can see like Microsoft Viva Insight also produces useful insights. We saw how about the organization and the employees function, and it is doing this by analyzing the M365 collaboration data and the HR data, right? Whatever is present that we are providing. So because of the potential sensitivity about how data could be used, successful implementation and the use of Viva Insights require careful attention to the data and privacy protection. So by default, Viva Insights does not include the personal data. And when it processes the data, it is going to obscure the email addresses from M365. And because these email addresses could actually verify any individual, so it is going to obscure it. And Viva Insight is automatically replacing the email addresses with cryptographically obscured strings of numbers and letters when it is processing the data. So de-identified data is going to replace the personal identified data, and it is not going to directly identify person as such, like it will be using as an encrypted key. So these identifiers cannot be mapped back to a specific person without any additional information. Okay, and let's move ahead and talk about the differential privacy as well. So with the use of this statistical tool, this is called as differential privacy, which has been used in this product. Managers and leaders also have an additional layer of protection. So it is mathematically difficult to back compute any individual information from from aggregates, like as a result. So protecting the individuals as though they were not included in the research at all. Differential privacy is actually a type of data aggregation that is going to impair the data with some statistical noise. This noise is going to be large enough to ensure that no specific person identification can be determined, but small enough to maintain the accuracy and the use of the study. So let's do one thing. We will understand it with a simple example, as you can see on the screen. So this differential privacy, in this, the analyst is sending, you can see the analyst is sending a query to an intermediate piece of software, the DP guard or this differential privacy guard. Okay, so this guard is going to assess the privacy impact of the query, which is it is doing this by using a special algorithm. This guard is then sending the query to the database and gets back a clean answer based on the data that has not been distorted in any way. Now, this guard is then adding some appropriate amount of noise, which is scaled to the privacy impact. Thus, it is making the answer hopefully slightly imprecise in order to protect the confidentiality of the individual whose information is there in the database. And then it sends that modified response back to the analyst. So this differential privacy was actually conceived to deal with privacy threats, that is to prevent any unwanted re-identification and other privacy threats to individual whose personal information is present in the large data sets. So by using these various types of measures in Viva Insight, we will be able to personalize and privatize our data. So let's move ahead towards the conclusion, and I would like to conclude. So before winding up this session, we will be having a quick recap about the security, privacy, and compliance of Microsoft Viva. So it ensures a robust security measures to protect sensitive data and information. It leverages Microsoft's advanced security technologies such as MFA or multi-factor authentication and encryption, and it is going to safeguard us against any unauthorized access and data breaches. This also provides reassurance to organizations and individuals using Microsoft Viva that their data is absolutely secure. And if we talk about the privacy focus, we know that the privacy is a significant concern in today's digital landscape, and this Viva is going to address this by adhering to stringent privacy standards. It allows the users to have control over their personal data and provides transparency into how the data is getting handled. Microsoft Viva also complies with relevant data protection regulations, ensuring that the user privacy rights are always respected. And moving ahead, lastly, Microsoft Viva is also designed to comply with various industry-specific regulations, ensuring that organizations can meet their compliance obligation. It offers features and functionality to enforce data retention policies, manage access controls, and also to generate audit logs. So this is going to ensure that organization using Microsoft Viva can maintain compliance with industry regulations and avoid any legal or regulatory issues. So in conclusion, Microsoft Viva is going to bring a range of benefits to the organization, including improved productivity and employee well-being. And it is also going to place great emphasis on security, privacy, and compliance, providing the users with peace of mind. So by integrating these key points in like by integrating these things into this my presentation, I would like to conclude that Microsoft Viva security, privacy, and compliance is going to make you totally secure. Moving ahead.